They did not just fight wars, they changed them forever. Steel giants, born from desperation, ambition, and the cold mathematics of mass death. These machines did not merely occupy battlefields, they defined them. In the crucible of the deadliest conflict in human history, 5 tanks rose above all others, not just for their firepower, not just for their armor, but for the way they rewrote the rules of warfare, broke the spirits of entire armies, and left scars on the earth that lasted generations. These are the 5 most lethal tanks of World War II. Number 5. The M4 Sherman, United States of America. It was never the most powerful tank on any battlefield it touched. Its armor to be punched through at range. Its profile was tall and exposed. German crews sometimes called it the Tommy Cooker. British soldiers with darker humor called it the Ronson because it lit first time, every time. And yet, the Sherman won the war. Not through dominance, through relentlessness. By 1944, American factories were producing Shermans at a rate that defied comprehension. 49,000 of them rolled off assembly lines during the war. Chrysler's Detroit tank arsenal alone could build one every single hour of every single day. The Sherman was not engineered to be invincible. It was engineered to be everywhere. When a Sherman burned on the road to Berlin, another one took its place before the smoke had cleared, then another, then 10 more. The industrial logic of the United States Army was simple and devastating. It did not matter how many tanks Germany destroyed if America could replace them faster than Germany could reload. The Sherman was the physical embodiment of that doctrine, a weapon that weaponized logistics itself, turning production lines into a form of warfare that the Reich had no answer for. By the time the war ended, Shermans were fighting on every front, on every continent where the Allies engaged. They were imperfect, they were vulnerable, and they were absolutely, inescapably unstoppable. Number 4. The Panzerkampfwagen V, Panther, Germany. If the Sherman was a hammer, the Panther was a scalpel, and it nearly bled Germany to death in the making. Born from the shock of encountering the T-34 on the Eastern Front, the Panther was Germany's answer to the question of what a modern tank should be. Sloped armor, a long, high-velocity 75mm gun capable of destroying almost anything it faced at combat range. Low profile, wide tracks designed for the mud and snow that had swallowed so many German vehicles whole. On paper, it was nearly perfect. In reality, it was a masterpiece of desperate engineering. The Panther was rushed into production before its mechanical systems had been fully resolved. Its final drive was chronically weak, catastrophically so. Its engine ran so hot it spontaneously caught fire with disturbing regularity. At the Battle of Kursk in 1943, an enormous portion of the Panthers committed to the offensive broke down before they ever reached the front line, not from enemy fire, from themselves. And yet, when a Panther worked, when it held the line and fought the way it was designed to fight, it was arguably the most formidable tank-for-tank combatant of the entire war. Its gun could reach out and kill at distances that left Allied tank crews completely defenseless. Its armor, when angled correctly, turned shells away with contemptuous ease. The Panther was a flawed genius. It told the story of a nation that was running out of time, throwing everything it had into machines it could no longer afford to build, man, or fuel. It was beautiful, it was broken, and it was never enough. Number 3. The T-34, Soviet Union. In the winter of 1941, the German army stood at the gates of Moscow. They had swept across the Soviet Union in a campaign of almost incomprehensible destruction. And then, out of the frozen darkness, the T-34 arrived in numbers that no intelligence report had predicted and no German general had prepared for.
The T-34 was not subtle, it was not elegant, it was a blunt, angular declaration of industrial willpower from a nation that refused to die. Its sloped armor was revolutionary not because it was thick, but because of the angle. Shells that would have penetrated a flat surface glanced off the T-34's hull and flew harmlessly into the sky. Its wide track spread its weight across mud and snow that swallowed German tanks whole. Its diesel engine was far less likely to catch fire than the gasoline power plants of its rivals. And when the Soviets moved their factories east of the Ural Mountains, out of the reach of German bombers, they produced the T-34 in numbers that the Wehrmacht could not mathematically overcome. 65,000 T-34s were built during the war. When they were destroyed, more came. When entire armored formations were wiped out, they were rebuilt, refitted, and thrown back into the line. The T-34 was the industrial backbone of a nation fighting for its absolute survival, and it carried that weight with an almost inhuman endurance. The T-34 did not save the Soviet Union through tactical perfection. It saved it through sheer, grinding, relentless mass. And that was enough. More than enough. Number 2. The IS-2, Soviet Union. If the T-34 was the spine of the Soviet war machine, the IS-2 was its fist, closed, iron, and swung with killing intent. Named after Joseph Stalin himself, the IS-2 heavy tank carried a 122mm gun that had no business being mounted on anything that moved. It was an artillery weapon pressed into a tank turret, and what it did to armored vehicles was not destruction in any conventional sense, it was annihilation. A single round from the IS-2 did not penetrate a Tiger's armor so much as it removed entire sections of it. The kinetic energy transferred by that shell was sufficient to blow turrets completely off their hulls, to detonate ammunition stores in catastrophic chain reactions, to reduce the interior of an armored vehicle to something that should never be described in polite company. German tank crews who survived IS-2 engagements did not describe being defeated, they described being unmade. The IS-2 entered combat in 1944 and was deployed specifically as a Tiger hunter, as a pillbox destroyer, as a breaching tool for the fortified lines and urban warfare that defined the final push into Germany. At the Battle of Berlin, IS-2s led the assault through streets that had been turned into layered killing grounds, absorbing punishment that would have stopped anything else, and returning fire that settled the argument permanently. It was not the most refined weapon of the war, but it was, round for round, the most destructive thing on tracks that either side put into the field. Number 1. The Tiger I, Germany. There has never been a weapon quite like the Tiger I, not because of what it destroyed, but because of what it made men feel before it destroyed them. Fear has always been a weapon of war. The Tiger turned fear into a tactical doctrine. By 1943, Allied tank crews had received enough battlefield reports about the Tiger I that the mere sighting of one, or anything that looked remotely like one, was enough to halt advances, break formations, and send urgent radio transmissions up the chain of command. This phenomenon had a name: tiger phobia. It spread through the Allied armies like a contagion, and German commanders understood its value and exploited it ruthlessly. The Tiger deserved the fear. Its 88mm gun was derived from one of the most effective anti-aircraft and anti-tank weapons ever produced, and at combat ranges, it was essentially incompatible with survival for anything it aimed at. Its frontal armor was thick enough that the standard Allied tank guns of the period could not reliably penetrate it from the front at any practical engagement distance. A single Tiger, properly positioned and crewed, could fold a road, a bridge, a village against forces that outnumbered it 10-1. The kill ratios accumulated by veteran Tiger crews entered the realm of statistics that seemed like fiction. Individual tanks accounting for dozens, sometimes over 100 confirmed kills across a single deployment. And none of that fully captures what the Tiger was, what it represented, what it meant to the men who faced it across open fields and burning villages and snow-covered forests at the edge of the world. The tiger was the sound of something approaching that you could not stop. It was the knowledge that the armor around you was not enough. It was the moment before the shot, when every man in the crew understood what was about to happen and had no answer for it. It was terror, cast in 60 tons of German steel, and it haunted the nightmares of soldiers on every front where it was deployed. Long after the war was over, long after the last one was silenced, long after the men who feared it had grown old and tried to forget. 5 tanks, 5 different answers to the question of how to survive the worst war in human history. And each of them, in their own way, proved that the answer was never just steel and guns and armor. It was will, it was industry, it was desperation, and it was fear. Always, in the end, it was fear.